I do actually. Well, we have an executive session anyway, so I wanted that.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. I wanted to strike. I'm going to table this fine adjustment thing until next time.
All right, so,
Revisit it.
okay.
And we need to talk about the sewer line.
Right.
Also.
We'll do that later.
Okay, is that unfinished or is it?
Committee reports?
Technically.
Yeah, I think that'd be a committee report, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we're
so we can
supposed
start
to do.
there and then
Okay.
start a new business.
All right,
New
sounds
business.
good. Okay, thank you. Can everybody please rise and put in pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can everyone make sure their phones are on vibrate? Thank you. All right. And before, Norma and Keith have to please read their, out loud. Ladies first.
I, Norma Nunez Langlois, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the trustee for the Goshen Public Library and Historical Society according to the best of my ability, and do further solemnly affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or offered, or promised to contribute any money or other valuable thing as a consideration or reward for the giving or withholding a vote at the election at which I was elected to said office, and have not made any promise to influence the giving or withholding any such vote.
I, Keith Ryan, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of trustee for the Goshen Public Library and Historical Society according to the best of my ability. And I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, or offered, or promised to contribute any money or other valuable thing as a consideration or reward for the giving or withholding a vote at the election at which I was elected to said office, and have not made any promise to influence the giving or withholding any such vote.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. This is great.
So we have a little.
Okay, privilege of the floor. All right. Approval of the minutes from April 8th.
I do have something.
Yeah.
Unfinished business. A strategic plan. It wasn't I who suggested that Paul Mays be contacted to meet the board during the month of September. I strongly urge that we actually work on the plan ourselves. That was somebody else who had made that suggestion.
I think I also had a question in my section. I think there was a kind of a discussion, and then out of it came a consensus. All right, let's get Paul Mays, and then we decided let's wait until September to get Paul Mays. But we never really had a motion or a second to do it.
No, we didn't. Yeah.
But we had a discussion about it. So I think you're right. I don't think you really what he said.
I would not.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do we want done with that? If there was something specific you want?
It's just a suggestion was made, not by me. But
Okay.
So 2 sentences then.
Yeah.
How about Keith expressed a strong desire to move forward on an investigation of a new library building, period.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was suggested that Paul,
Right.
Yeah, that works.
that work?
Yeah. Okay. Any other changes anyone wants from the minutes?
The director's report would, I don't know if we talked about it afterwards or not, but did we save money on Time Warner Cable? Or I thought it was actually an additional cost, the Time Warner Cable contract.
Yeah.
But to our benefit.
Right.
We paid an extra of something, $10, $20 a month.
Yes.
So there wasn't a cost savings per se, but we get faster internet, which is beneficial to everybody.
So the way it's phrased right now, is that slightly off?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't say
You
that.
accepted an offer from Time Warner Cable
just scratch which saved the library money and just leave which increased the
Yeah,
total
just put
amount.
it on its
Which
current
increased?
contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cross out which saved the library money and the rest of the sentence is okay.
Increase
Don't-
of
don't cross out
bid
which.
plan.
Yeah, scratch
Save the which.
save the library money on its current contract and scratch that phrase out. So from saved until and.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. All right. Increase the total, which, right, which increase the total, all right. My goodness. All right, anything else? Okay, may I have a vote to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Jim, a second. Keith,
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Okay, thank you. All right. Treasurer's report.
Okay, great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Evening, Jack.
Good evening, everybody. Got the treasurer's report here, and also I got a list of the checks paid in April. I think that was requested at the last meeting. They said we do it every 3 months or so. So I have that printed out as well. And April is what, month 10, so we have 2 months left in the fiscal year. And everything is more or less staying where it's been. I know I sound like a broken record if you look at each month meeting, but it's more or less it is staying. There hasn't been too many big changes, right? And the books are still not currently updated. The $1,000 I moved, but I moved it after I ran this report at the last meeting, so really adult will have 1,000 more in it, and we took it out of replacements and it's in adult now, so adult is not off as much as it looks. But that's the only one at the end of the year that could potentially be over. And the salaries is still roughly $1,400 under budget through April. We have 5 pay periods left in the year, because there's 3 in May. And overall, the total spending is $11,500 under budget. So it's probably, when you add that all up, it's probably right on, more or less. But within a couple thousand. So a couple thousand out of a $1 million budget at this point is almost like a bullseye. The cash, we have total of roughly $462,000 left between the savings and the checking. And so we'll probably do to end the year with what we've been projecting, around $260,000 or so, because there is that 5th pay period, so that's 125 right there, and figure another 75 for expenses, so it'll probably go down by about 200, so we should be within, very close to what we thought at the end of the year. And I have a copy of the loan statement through May, and after the May payment, it's down to $164,467.68. We're only paying like $700 now in interest a month.
Oh, that's great, it's all principal.
Yeah, we're way below the principal of 785,850.
Great.
Remember a few months ago, it was like over 1,000 every month, so we're really cracking away at it. And then the other report is just a list of the checks that were cut in the month of April.
Can we have a moment to look at the checklist?
What's
We
that?
just got this, right? The
Oh, yeah,
checklist?
absolutely. I was about to say that. Everybody take a moment and go over it, and then if you have any check on.
Can you start asking questions?
Well, why don't we let everybody catch up to you, Keith? Give everybody a minute or so.
You can ask.
Do you have a question, Kim?
I wanted to hear a repeat on the number, the
Oh.
amount projected for, at the end of the year.
Well, the remaining,
Yes, 200 and,
60 roughly.
Roughly.
Right, that's harder to tell because, it's 2 months out and there's a lot, but roughly around what we had thought. Yeah, because theoretically, if we're on budget for the year, we should end the year pretty close to what we started the year, more or less.
Okay, Keith, what's your question?
Well, there's 2 line items for Orange and Rockland.
And here, on this?
Yes, on this. One for $837, about the 10th one down. And one about the 5th one up from the bottom. I'm just wondering, And that's for electricity, I assume?
Mhm.
Yeah, they just might have both been paid, one at the very beginning of the month, one at the
Oh,
very
okay.
end. I could double check on that though.
But that's about how much we pay for electricity per
Yeah.
month?
About
Would be
Yep.
950,000?
Yep,
Okay.
with, yeah, for close to that each month. It could just be that, yeah, one was paid at the very tail end and one at the beginning of the month.
Gotcha. Can I ask another question?
Oh, sure.
Safe Harbor Group Limited, what is that for?
Oh, that 1,259, that's our disability, I believe, short-term disability. We pay that like a couple times a year.
Thank you.
Is the Bank of America the loan?
No,
No,
that's
that's
the
Orange Region,
Orange County.
Orange County Trust
No, that's,
credit card.
credit card.
What?
That's a credit card from Bank of America.
For 1 month?
Yeah, that could have like a lot of stuff that was ordered online, like books or stuff for programs or computer type stuff. It's just put on the,
And also we do a lot of stuff through Amazon now, free 2-day shipping, so our books at good discounts through them.
right, so
Everybody uses that card. It's, like the adult books will buy books with that card, and Michelle will buy things with that card for the children's programs, and so it's money that comes from all over.
yeah, it's spread out to
America.
books.
It's all one card for the whole
Mhm.
library.
Do you have, I know for our credit card account, my wife and I have 2 cards, it's 1 bill, but it indicates which one of us made the...
Yeah, ours separates it as well. It has it by different authorized users and their charges for the month.
So it breaks it down by user.
Yep.
Right. Because that might be an interesting thing to look at sometime, just to, it's a lot of money, $2,500, and
Mm-hmm.
To see which, what was purchased in each department.
Right, because when we pay that 2,500, the expense side of it gets split to all the corresponding, accounts like books or programs or
Right.
video.
Right, you have to break it down for you.
Right. So it's spread over, it's probably 10 different accounts that hit.
Right.
Because this is just looking at the check side, paying the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
But the expense side went to all those different categories. Unlike other vendors where wherever it was, it went to one line just for that one purpose, like O&R or whatever.
So just for curiosity's sake, you want
Yeah,
to
maybe-
photocopy of the bill one
Yeah, I
time,
mean,
just to see?
we're
how-
seeing the checks, but this is like a blank, this is like a list of checks in
Right.
effect.
That's the one case where that's true, right? Because the others, you can pretty much tell that O&R just went
But
to
it's-
utilities or whatever.
Right.
So you want to,
Hey, I'd just be curious to see it. I mean, we're supposed to be having this fiduciary responsibility of
absolutely.
overlooking, and here's a big lump sum. I mean, if we just get maybe a photocopy of
Just the bill.
this
the item.
particular one,
Sure.
rather than the one that's coming up with this one.
Because, we already have all the backup for that too.
Yeah.
So we could copy the statement and show how it was
You
out.
could give it to us for next month, but I'd rather see the one that is listed here rather than the one that's
The next
coming up.
The next one.
So April's.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, Keith.
One more
All
question.
right.
The Times
Is that
Herald
the- was that the
Record,
way you were?
Yeah.
You were
that's
wondering the same thing,
for
right?
like a
Thank
few
you.
subscriptions, that's one,
Oh.
that's
The
the
credit card.
yearly charge,
It's one.
towards the bottom.
It's 5 something.
Third up.
That was, I think that might have been an election.
Oh, notice?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we had to
Yeah.
pay for the-
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Other than that, it would be true, normally Times Herald would be for subscription, but that's the one time a year where it's for the election, not.
Any other questions for Jack?
So do you want to, in terms of the credit card, you want to see this month's, the next meeting, because we already have the number?
Right.
Do you also want to just have them included?
Well, we're going to see this every 3 months.
Right.
So
Do the credit
how
card then?
much trouble is that to?
No problem.
Yeah, just as.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
because anything like that, that's gonna come from several different lines.
Right.
It will be, yeah, just for oversight purposes, I think that makes sense. Now, when you audit the bills, do you go over that too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, all right.
And we've been
so-
pretty good with the backup,
Yeah, no, I get it. No,
The
I
one
know, I
time we
know.
were missing one out of like 1,000 and,
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
But we've been pretty good.
Okay, so every 3 months, next month, just give us April's,
Right.
And the next time you do this for us, include the Bank of America card.
Absolutely.
I'm not my.
Right.
The Bank
Tongue
of America card statement.
Absolutely, I'll make a note of that to remind myself.
All right.
And there's one other thing I want to bring up that I probably should bring up, just so, the very top check, so everybody says, oh my God, how is Oxford? That's the gross amount, but every month and every pay period, people who have their paychecks deducted for family or the retirees gets offset against that, so that number comes down to like 7,000 or so. Because we have to pay Oxford the full amount, and then everybody's payroll check gets
And then that
docked.
money gets back into our account.
Right, it goes back in as a credit to the health insurance account, so it reduces that 10,000.
Right, so
That's
we
a-
write out a check for 10,000, but we get back about 3 of it from the
Employees, right. So that's like a gross number, but it gets,
I got
you
it.
know, knocked down with the employees. But
Okay.
just because it looks big when you see that like that, but it gets reduced.
Any other questions?
Is that the only credit card, the Bank of America, or are there other
I
credit
think
cards
that's
that we
it,
use?
right?
That's
We
it.
only have the one card.
Just the
There's
one.
There's a Home Depot.
We have Home Depot and Lowe's.
Home Depot and Lowe's, they're both small.
Yeah, like
Not
100.
for like Danny's.
Danny.
Danny, like under 100 a month usually.
And you pay this off every month?
Yeah, in full. We
Right,
try
yeah.
to, no interest.
There's no
spent.
we don't carry a balance, right?
Right, no, that was the whole balance.
Right.
Do you get rewards or points with that credit card that can be used for something useful?
Just taking a break.
I don't think so.
I gotta
Try again.
I could look.
Try again.
That off at the library prize.
Try again. No, I mean,
Right, if we
Yeah,
got
right,
like.
do we get free books?
$50 a year, we get a new computer at the end of the year.
Anything,
Right.
yeah,
a gift certificate to
Anything.
Amazon, I don't know,
Right.
whatever.
I'll look into that, because I know personal cards, you can get the
Right, but
discount
It's
for.
a different kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if we could, but I could look into it,
Hmm.
because you could probably build it up fairly quick with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Very nice. Okay, any questions about the profit and loss of the trustees actual fiscal project? Okay, I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Thank you, and second, Norma, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good passage. Thank you very much, Jack. You have a
Thanks,
nice
everybody.
evening.
You
Thank
too,
you,
thanks,
Jack.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
You too. Okay, committee report. You said you had something you wanted to talk to us about.
Yeah, and Matt can fill in details.
Oh, yeah, 15 minutes
Yeah,
before
we
you-
did that first, so. Yeah, there was an issue with the toilet downstairs, not flushing, not emptying as quickly as it has been. And so the concern there is what we've discussed in the past, maybe there is a problem with the sewer line, going to the street, and it being below grade here, or possibly below the sewer line here. So the short of it is, the 25,000 that we have allotted for the roof repairs and others, there's probably a few $100s to get that line scoped. When that money starts to come through I should have asked him whatever month that comes through, we'll pay to have the line scoped at that point. Or do it sooner even, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
Just do it sooner rather than wonder whether it's going to continue to grow.
Actually, sooner is better, I think, because we're heading into hurricane season.
Well, yeah.
And we're not having the concert on the lawn, we're having it at the Main Street School?
Yes.
Okay.
So, they don't have to rip up to scope it, right? They
No.
can do it from.
They should do it from the
Right,
camera from
from
one
the camera
side.
from right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, just to get an idea of where it is, so they can mark it with flags, and then also the status of it, whether it's collapsed or whether it's.
And whether it pitches toward the library or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay.
That's.
Yeah.
Danny snaked it, he tried, he has his own stuff, he said it's not,
That one.
he said try rotor or something, and then we thought, well, we can do kill two birds with one stone if we have someone come in here to examine it. For that, we can also just get it done, so
Yeah.
I'll look around tomorrow,
Okay.
and see. Shouldn't be too.
I've seen several homes around the village with collapsed sewers that have been dug up.
Okay. Well, I got a little nervous because I noticed that always the red flag is when you see that flooding around the intersection up here, and I noticed that was kind of at the same time that this started happening. I was wondering if
Yeah, the day we had a bunch of thunderstorms, strong
Right.
thunderstorms,
Oh.
it flooded up. It subsided relatively quickly, but just that there was a
when that
large lake
happens,
there in front of
we
the
have-
triangle-shaped buildings right there. So, yeah.
So when that happens, we have some
seems,
problem.
they seem like
That's interesting.
Just you just mentioned the 25,000 that we had voted on. Thank you, Devotion. I was having a conversation with Mel Wessenberg, who is a former board member of RCLS. And he said there might be matching funds. Is that something that we
That's
need to
coming
look
up.
into?
That's, every year, the state puts out $14 million for capital improvements. You know, it's a grant process, but, and I just went to, was it 2 weeks ago? I put that in my report, actually. Thanks for reminding me. I went to an RCLS seminar on some of the, on those grants and some of those funds that will be made available again in the fall. Actually, we talked about it on Friday. So there's a few things I can do up front to start to look at it. So you might want to check who that is, David. But that paper would have to be in by like late September, I believe. I'll check, or late August, I'm sorry, somewhere in the beginning of fall.
Are they competitive grants? Are we competing with other libraries, or every library gets to apply and depending on needs?
I think that it works right like that. I think that RCLS gets the money and then divvies it out somehow. I don't know all the details, but we've looked into it before, and I forget. I mean, I think we just came up against the whole thing about who's going to write the grant, because it's sort of a big thing. But we started it late. At least kind of aware of it now. So look into it, see what it takes. I know a lot of libraries have have taken advantage of the funds in the last couple of years.
I think we should,
So
because we don't know what's going to be
right.
in that pipe, and if we every penny we can get, that we don't have to get from the taxpayer.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So if we need to hire somebody to write a grant for us for a couple of $100s, and it's going to get us several thousand, it'll pay for itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And even if it's not a matching grant, if it's just a flat out grant, it's
Yeah, right.
anything.
If it's
Whatever they can give us.
Yeah, I think it's 50%. I think. And you have to have something that's what they call shovel ready or whatever, right? They want to know that and RCLS is pressing that too, saying you do not want to begin this thing and not have because then it makes it look like you don't need the money, and this is very important. This $14 million, a lot of libraries count on it every year, so they really want to make sure you do your homework, get your ducks in a row, and see it through.
So what have we done toward the roof?
Well, the roof we have one bid in already.
Okay.
And Danny gave me a number for another guy. I called, no answer, but I'll try again tomorrow.
Okay.
So we want to do that in the summer, right?
Yeah, I would think these are things we want to do before the really bad weather.
Right.
Is correct?
But still do it in July when the fiscal year starts.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
That's what I mean. If we have one in July, it's pretty much what we
That's
want
the
this done in
best,
July.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty much it, really. Now
Soonest
that I'm saying it out
and
loud.
not
Hurricane
too
season
soon,
is
yeah.
August, September, so
Yeah.
yeah, July is kind of when we want to do this. So, are there I forget what the rules were about bidding once we get,
Amounts.
it's just amounts, it's not like we have to let it sit for 45 days or something like that, no? Okay. I couldn't remember. I know
We
cities,
made
different
changes to that
municipalities,
recently,
different-
too.
yeah, put it out there how many times, and I don't know how it works. All right.
Yeah, I think we would have
Raised
discussed
the
if it
amount,
was,
I think.
we
Yeah,
raised
we
the
raised the
amount
amount
line,
to a minimum that we had
and
to
it
have
might
bidded
be
for. It might be
20,000,
20 or 25.
which
yeah.
the roof would probably come in under that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
all right,
Right.
well, yeah, I
Yeah.
think you are right.
Yeah.
I remember raising the amount, I can't remember what we were.
Because that was on our radar anyway.
It was only like
so
last fall that we did this too.
we would have done that.
Everything all right?
Yeah, I think so.
A vendor.
How dare they
A
come down to
vendor.
the children's room?
Customer.
Insanity. Any other committee report? I'm sorry, are you done? I don't mean to.
Yeah, that was the only thing, I mean,
All right,
same
so
type of
now-
thing, the roof and the cupola, he's got all that covered.
Yeah, right. Any other committee reports? How's the Sunshine Committee doing budget-wise? Do you have enough money to do it yet?
It's probably fine. No, it's, I'm sure we're fine.
Okay.
I was gonna ask about, oiling the woodwork
Yes.
upstairs, any information on that?
I did. I talked to Danny about it. It used to be the board that did it.
The board did it?
Yeah. They washed it and oiled it.
What?
He said,
What did he do?
well, this was back in the day, as he called it. He said, this was back in the day, and the board actually, all the wood in the old parking lot of the dark wood.
Yeah.
It was washed
Jim is
That's a
available.
great idea.
Jim, jump on
Sounds like a
it.
job for the friends, maybe.
Sunday team building, that's what that
Yeah,
is.
Was it like a, the board goes to work day, or bring your board to work day?
Something like that.
He said that was also the time that he had to do all the lawn maintenance. It was a terrible time.
It was the worst of times.
There you go.
Why, does it need oiling?
Oh, yeah.
Does it need?
Yeah.
And now we got carpenters, I guess I can ask who, does that kind of thing.
Well, it would be somebody that's familiar with historic buildings that would know about it. I was thinking of Ray Quattrini.
Yeah,
I guess his son also does restoration work on historic buildings.
Okay.
So he gets some information there.
So you just can't use the can pledge.
No, I don't think you can just lemon pledge in the final. I don't think so.
Murphy's
Yeah, Murphy's
Murphy's
Oil.
Oil.
So I use all the wood in my house.
Any other committee reports?
Yeah, actually, just to bring up, sorry, in terms of, I noticed the other day, Friday when I was here, as well as just coming in, two things. The railing on the back ramp has got a few things that are just broken. And, the vertical bars that are just broken off. And then also, just coming in today, there was a family leaving the library, and I felt necessary to stand at the bottom while the three of them came down the ramp. As such a point, if we actually consider redoing that ramp for any reason, we should consider making it a little bit wider as well, at the expense of the parking lot being smaller. But something to keep in mind, because it might be just wide enough for a wheelchair now, and if we could make it wider.
What's the wheelchair have to do with it?
The ramp?
The ramp is for.
Well, no, just in terms
No, I
of...
thought we couldn't even navigate a wheelchair in our library.
As soon as I said it, I was wondering
Get
about...
into the library.
Well, you can get into the
Get into the
library.
Once you're
library,
in,
they
you
just
can't.
can't get
Oh,
around.
I don't know if a wheelchair can get up, go
Alright.
to the landing at the middle
Right, there's
middle
a step
spot.
probably
I
going
think
in
they
from the
would
landing.
do it.
But just in terms of being polite to people, it was a mom, dad, and young child, and so I stopped to let them come down so they didn't feel encroached. They had to turn sideways,
Walk
so.
in a line,
Yeah,
one after
exactly.
the other.
So,
Just to mention.
Okay, yeah.
okay.
Way back project.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I was just thinking, put that at the
new library
bottom of the
project.
list,
Mhm,
yeah.
yeah,
On
yeah,
the
we're not-
new
we're not-
library,
we're
we'll
not-
make sure we have a really wide ramp.
Yeah, even when we talked about redoing or restriping or redoing the back, we didn't even talk about redoing the ramp at all. So,
No.
But
No,
should it
it's
ever
too
come up,
expensive, yeah.
I think we should do the sewer and then the roof.
the sewer is
The
going to be
sewer
important.
and the roof, yeah, the sewer I think is top priority, and then the roof, and the voters said yes, fix the roof. The roof is top priority. I know, the roof, but it's like, but isn't it so great, we have a roof, and the building floods from underneath instead of from the top down, I mean, no, it's just the sewer, yeah, dear. Any questions?
Any questions about the vote, about Carol's report that was included in your?
No, but thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, I do have a great report.
Thank you.
So, we sent out 221 absentee ballots. We have a
Yes.
list, and we only get back, what was it, 12 or
30 of them?
Oh, I believe I get back about
30.
30.
30?
Where's the list come from? I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
The list comes from the Orange Board of Elections for Orange County, and they maintain that list all the time, removing people who are deceased or move, and then entering new people. So it is a list that's generated by them and given to me
So it's
at
not
the proper time.
They don't request
And
an
then,
absentee ballot.
but in addition to that, we also do extend that courtesy to those folks that are listed at the library as homebound and needing, books sent to their home. We send them one, because giving someone an absentee ballot is not, you want them to have this, so we always do, as a courtesy, send them out to those folks. There's about 30
They have
of
to
those.
request it to get on the Board of Elections list in the first place, correct?
Yes, people have to request it to
And you
get
have to
onto that
request it,
list.
And
the
the board-
deadline is pretty far out.
Wait, you
And
say
then this year I had one request from my husband, because he was gonna be out of town,
Yeah.
for an absentee
But
ballot.
The 221, they're not requested on here.
No,
They
that's
are, in order
an
to get
actual
on
list
the-
that comes from the Board of Elections to me.
Right,
In order
but
to,
prior-
They
request
requested
the library,
them.
they request to the Board of Elections.
for all
For-
elections, not just
For all
ours.
elections in whatever time frame, I can't remember if it's 2013, if it's July to July, whatever it is, you have to request it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they request it
No,
from the
that's
Board
fine.
of, that's all, and then
Okay, that's
so,
fine.
because it's in our district, she gets 21 names.
I thought it was a static list.
No, no, and every year
Sometime
it's
in
different.
January, I notify them that I'm going to have the election in April, and that I will need an absentee list
And
one
I
month
think it-
before the election, so that I can mail that out in a timely fashion.
Cool.
And they always call me and provide me with that.
And that's, so that's your 21, it's something that's required, if not legally required, to send out to that 221 list.
The 221, yes.
Yes, because it's-
That's a part of my legal
Part of
vote.
the, yeah.
Right, all right, so,
And so you also, I'm sorry,
yeah, that was,
you also hear from people about, they want to hear more about a new building.
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's kinda cool.
So
Maybe short,
that
actually.
that would
Good
be, you know, in each year going by, you get a different flavor
When are
from
we
the
gonna get a new
community.
library?
And most recently, that one is the one that is
I'm not asking the questions, it's just not-
being talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I noticed you mentioned Cindy Brown really being helpful.
Yes.
I wondered if we could send the board, or if someone could send a letter to her, thanking her for her cooperation and help.
I did that the day after the vote.
Did you? Okay.
Thank
good,
you very
because-
much, Carol.
Carol, when
She's
do,
on
top of
board,
things,
Carol is
yeah.
really on top of things. That's why we keep her around.
Carol, when do we need to make a decision about new voting machines?
It's still up in Albany, the decision to be made, not just our, community, but libraries and schools
Town, village.
across the state, are petitioning to be able to use the old machines. The new machines require a lot of space and a lot of, you have to have a sheet for every possible voter. There's
Yeah, $1 a
16,000
piece,
voters
okay.
in our district.
Right, and she
300
doesn't vote.
come in to vote, but we would have to have the paperwork
For
for,
16,000.
yeah, about 80% of that, of those voters. So, and each one of those sheets cost $1.
Right,
So our vote
our
potentially
from
using a new machine
$2,500
would cost
will
us
go up to
maybe between
$16,000.
$10,000 and $20,000. We're now spending less than
Mm.
$3.
Wow.
So it would be a huge, now, the fact, not long ago when the new machines came out, many districts actually sent their machines to the dump because they were told they were never going to use them again. But smart Cindy Brown said, not my machines, put them in storage, guys. And thank God that she did that, because now us as the library and the school are still able to use them, and we're hoping to be grandfathered for all time with the use of them, but we don't have that decision yet. We only have, I think it's still like one more year, but we're hoping that they're going to extend that before that time evaporates on us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol. Okay, Matthew, you're up.
Well, first of all, thanks to Goshen for
Yeah.
voting yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for all the hard work you guys have all done. It's good to be liked.
Yeah. You practice, you really like it.
Let's see here. The class that I've been taking is, I expressed it here already, very good, very helpful. Excellent resource. In fact, one of the questions that had come up at last meeting, I was able to ask Gerald, and that was whether a budget, a special meeting, a budget discussion was mandated by law. It is for schools, but it's not for libraries. So something.
A budget hearing.
A hearing, thank you.
Budget hearing,
So
yeah.
that's,
That's why we don't do it.
we have, I guess on occasions when it's a little more of a, kind of a contentious thing, we have. But,
Yeah.
well, that was the referendum we had.
Yeah, right.
Prior.
That's different.
I mentioned we've already talked about the toilet bowls. Seems to be a recurring problem. The Bush House run.
Local landscape.
Mark Gardula, believes that deer are nibbling at the U.
Oh,
I did have something sent in.
Up Webster Avenue.
Same thing,
Oh,
really?
you
Okay,
bet.
so, I don't know what we're gonna do to stop them.
Oh, I can tell you what to do.
Deer away?
Yeah, it's this
Some kind of-
foul smelling
okay.
stuff you put on it.
We'll keep patrons away. though. But,
It certainly
Find
works.
out.
Yeah, it works.
I was just at the Alice Farm over the weekend, and she was telling me that deer absolutely can't stand mint.
mint.
She was selling mint, and she was selling it like crazy because of that, because
Yeah.
deer don't like
Okay.
it.
What does she do? What do you do with the mint? The leaves,
Well,
you just
you
spread
could
it
just
around?
grind it up, make a tea, or you could put it around, and they don't like the smell puts them off. So I don't know if planting mint around it, where they're gonna stop it.
Mint is an
Mint is very
invasive.
invasive.
I know it is, it's very invasive, but
So
it
we-
doesn't smell lovely when you mow the lawn, so.
It
I
does,
don't
but
know,
it's-
but
I
it might,
think
if it keeps
It'll
the deer
choke out
away.
other things.
But
What's that?
It'll choke out other things.
Right, but
Because of
if you
the-
put it in containers or something, or if we make a spray out of it or something, it's cheaper, and not as offensive as some of the other options for deer repellent sprays. That's what I'm
Hydrant.
looking
Well, this stuff you can get is organic, but I think most of the damage, as I've experienced and seen over at Pastor's house, happens during the winter,
Mhm.
the cold months.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
once
That's
the
what Mark
grass to
said.
eat, they're
Yeah,
not
Mark
gonna
said you don't have to
come
worry
out.
about it now because it's,
Yeah.
well, first of all, there's nothing there to eat.
Just maybe a mental note for
Yeah.
For
October.
October, we'll start spraying it with something funky.
We also used mothballs. We would get containers that actually hang on
Okay.
the plants and stuff, and put mothballs inside of them.
Deer-
And
deer
they're
own
strong enough, and it's less offensive than some of the deer
Yeah.
products.
Irish spring soap too, they don't like
I've
it.
heard that too, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bells,
Home
bells on
remedy.
it, that keeps the birds.
So there's a deer problem in Goshen?
Yeah, maybe
We're all aware of it, yeah. We've all tried.
Casey and, to some extent, David and Ann and myself are working with Steel to upload images to the Hudson River Valley Heritage website. It's been up for a few years. Not a lot of RCS libraries are partaking yet, but not a lot of them have the kind of stuff that we have.
You're talking about the Historical Society,
Right.
like postcards.
Yep,
and
yep.
things.
And it's set up in such a way that it's very difficult to rip the images off. And some libraries and historical societies set it up so that, you can set up fees, and people can call you and you can print it out and send it to them if you'd like. So some people have made some money off it like that. It's fairly inexpensive, and it's great to be able to get, some of this stuff, out to the world. So we'll keep you updated on that. They give you a few months of support. They bring in, and that's the other thing I need to ask you. They bring in scanners for you to borrow, unless you have your own, which we might have.
Yeah.
I think they said the really big Babe scanners they have there, and you can send your stuff to them, or you could just bring your stuff there, the stuff that you want to do on their like oversized scanners.
Yeah.
So they make it fairly easy, for the member libraries to participate. So it's kind of fun. Wednesday night, I'm going with Devon Miro to a friends group gathering at the Chester Library, which is more or less just a way to get friends groups from various libraries together to share ideas about the ways that they fundraise. And RCS is very impressed with our trivia contest especially, so they were asking Yvonne, who chairs that, to come by and be one of the presenters that night, so it should be fun. Cornerstone Arts, I was able to go to this Civil War shorts. It was terrific. I was really impressed with with everything. Just it was really pretty powerful. I don't know how many of you got a chance to see it.
I did.
Yeah, I see.
It's good.
Let's see. Goshen Rotary Club, I'll be on the board in July. Should be interesting to be on the other side. Well, they don't have a director, so there's nothing to harass.
A little shy.
No, that should be fun. You all know about this gnome. This gnome thing has taken off.
The Great Gnome.
People calling us from far away asking about it. Yes, Papa Gnome. It's an amazing thing here. With the help of the Rotary, they gave us $500 and helped to buy the prizes and helped to buy the supplies. Michelle, David, Norma upstairs, Ann Roche, a lot of people have chipped in just to help distribute the houses because it really started taking off. 25 businesses, I think, near there have known escapees residing in their business, place of business. The tricky part has been getting, and Michelle, gave them gave everybody, but it's kind of a, not most people don't house gnomes for, so it's sort of a little bit of a learning curve about how it works.
I have.
You have?
Right. When you walk in my house.
Oh, okay, great. Well, it's weird. I was driving in across the river the other day, and I'm thinking about the gnomes and such, and I come to a red light, and I look to my left, and the setting sun was sort of this orange light against the cliffside, and there is this gnome, this big, like running,
Running?
but in a running shape like this. I'm
He's hallucinating. I don't know. Maybe I want to tell the board that.
I never get a picture. But anyway, they're all over the place. I don't know, we have got a call from someone from upstate that heard about it, that was interested in it today, and, but the trick is, the way it works for all of you watching out there that have gnomes in your house, it's one gnome per gnome saver. Kid comes in with a badge, and then they replace the gnome, so then the next person comes in, because there's some people that had one gnome out, and someone comes in and rescues it, and then someone else comes after and said, oh, no, the gnome was rescued for today. That's not what we want. We want the gnome to be replaced, so the next child comes in. So we're going to make phone calls tomorrow just to
Make sure that there's
Make
a
sure-
supply of
I'm
milk.
not sure I get it.
There are 500 gnomes out there.
Okay, good, I'm sorry.
How many gnomes?
500 gnomes
There's
have
500
been
gnomes.
cut out and
How large
placed
are
out.
these gnomes?
They're paper.
They're just paper.
The paper
They're
gnomes.
small.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the statue.
I know,
I
I was gonna say, where did you get 500 gnomes?
Yeah.
Little paper.
Amazon?
So,
Yeah, they look just like that, but they're miniature.
So this child brings it here?
You get a discount.
What the child will do is, they
Their credit card.
they find a gnome, an escaped gnome, and they present the owner of the establishment, the proprietor, with a badge that they're an official gnome rescuer. They take that gnome home and they read it a book with their
They
parent.
read the gnome book?
Right.
Okay.
Or they come here and read it. And the idea is the more gnomes you rescue, the better your chances are of
So where do they get these rescue buttons?
here.
Here from
So
the
just
library.
initially they start here getting their
Right.
buttons or their rules.
Yeah.
And then they go around rescuing gnomes, reading them stories,
Right.
and then what do they do with the gnomes?
Then they bring the gnomes back, and the gnomes will go in those bags. See those families? These are all the
Oh,
families
so all
that
those are the places
right.
that had the gnomes.
Right.
Okay.
No, these are the families that are
Rescuing.
rescue the gnomes,
I
right?
know.
And we just give them clues as to who has an escapee. We don't tell them go to this that place. We just say
We heard that possibly
right.
might be good.
Because we saw gnomes eating wonton soup, or whatever.
Yeah, that's cute.
They like
Very
wonton
cute.
soup. Some of them.
Anyway, it really.
That's really good. How long does this go on?
It goes
for?
on. This is Children's Book Week, so to the end of the week. On
Oh,
Sunday there's a
okay.
party.
Oh, sweet.
A gnome party?
A gnome party.
Is there a gnome gonna make an appearance?
Running
one.
We got a costume fee for that?
In the summer, I made up a kind of throw together band. I called it the Roman Gnomes. I'm gonna bring my guitar. Michelle's gonna sing. We're gonna someone else write. We're gonna do some songs that have to do. I don't know. We'll have to find some theme with dig it, digging the earth. I don't know, something. Some 60s songs. So I will get to dress up as a gnome.
And we expect pictures.
But yeah, it's fun though. Those people are excited. I'm amazed at how competitive people are too, though. It's like, before you know it, you have people 9 o'clock in the morning when they were at here getting their badges. They wanted to get out there and start collecting gnomes. It's great.
Wow.
It's a good thing.
So, trying to think of anything. Oh, I did dig around. I didn't put this in the report, but I have two identical reports. This is the environmental assessment, site assessment from 2006. There's two of them here. Bernie had the good sense to think that there must be a electronic file out there somewhere. I talked to Ann, we don't have it. I'm going to look around a little more. I'm surprised because a lot of the stuff would come with a disc, so. But I did email them today asking if they kept records and if we could get one of them.
Copy, yeah.
It's 2006, I know, it's about 7 years ago, but
What's the range of it? Just the table of contents, what is it? Is there a table of contents that,
not really. Let me take a look.
in the front?
Oh. Index, see. No, just sort of, lots of pictures of broken down mansions. such. We cleaned up a lot
We
of
cleaned
stuff.
up a lot of that,
A
yeah.
lot of the stuff that's
That's
no longer
true.
here, so.
Now, did they do the whole property or just our 5 acres?
Just
for
our
the whole-
five, just, I think just our 5 acres.
Because that looks like interior shots of the building.
What does it say?
Where is it?
What do you want to give? Cohen property, 366 Main
That's
Street.
the whole thing.
I
That's
don't know.
not, isn't that the whole thing, the Cohen?
I thought that Cohen bought
Oh, no,
5
it's our
acres.
5 acres.
Yeah.
Well,
Is this good?
366.
I think it must be.
Okay. Yeah, it's now we can keep those up.
Where's that?
It's not there anymore.
no, it isn't.
Oh, there's, that's gone.
They're
Those are
gone,
gone.
yeah.
The trailers are gone.
Nice picnic. Nice barbecue area, I like it, Craig films. Oh,
Okay.
Ooh,
Are you done?
Yes, finished. Unless anyone has any questions?
Okay, dive
Yes.
into the strategic plan. I'm sorry?
I'm just wondering, I'm sorry, on the adult services report, statistics, who's Jerry?
Jerry is the statistics guy at RCOS.
Oh, I see, okay.
He's the one that deals with the IRS.
Okay. Thanks.
Question?
Jerry?
Yeah,
I'm-
I mean, she was having trouble getting statistics from Jerry.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
Who's
looking
Jerry?
This is Jerry first.
We're doing the same questions tonight, I got the same thing. I had a question. I was surprised to see Bill Ray going down. Whether it's a novelty, went from 86 down to 57. Am I reading that correctly? Yeah. It doesn't really mean anything, it's just, I thought it was unusual.
Yeah.
Well, the headings are over here, March and then April.
Well, what is this, the number that was checked out, or the
Yeah.
inventory?
Yeah.
No,
This
that's
should
what was
be the
checked
same.
out.
Okay.
And the other thing that I thought was interesting, large print went down. And I know that a number of people are getting, Kindles and using their iPads and so on for reading, in part because you can increase the font size.
Mhm.
So it could be a significant number of the people that would normally be getting large print books are
Interesting.
solving the problem electronically.
Right. I bet you're right.
So
That could be an
Is there
anomaly
a-
for that month.
It could be,
Could be.
but
Keep
if
an eye on
it becomes
it.
a trend, yeah.
It seems like a lot
Do
of
we
them,
have,
a lot of them went down, like many of the numbers.
Yeah, well,
But you know,
Yeah, so it could just be just
It was
declining
also,
circulation in
vacation.
general.
I was gonna say it was Easter
Yeah.
vacation too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that 1 week where half the town.
Well, the total went from 10,000 to
DVDs.
What's that?
8,800.
I'm a little skeptical still, though, because I think they're having issues with the changing the ILS systems. And with the coding, it's extremely, well, you can imagine, complicated with when you go from one ILS system, one catalog system to another on the back end, and keeping the statistics. I have a feeling, even looking at the state report, that some of it is just issues with what the coding. I think it's going to take a little while before it all kind of
So in
clears
that
itself
system,
up.
they would refer to it as one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we don't keep track of ebooks?
Because, I don't know what she does there, I think that's what it's
I was
different.
just wondering, in light of Jim's suggestion, that maybe that's what's going on. If the ebooks are going
Yeah.
up and the other things are going down, then that would.
But I did notice a lot of other directors mentioning that they thought the numbers seemed skewed this year. And I have a feeling, it's just because mid-year we switched systems, and there's just a lot of, technical stuff.
Do you have any sense of whether anybody's contacting RCLS or?
Well, they're aware of it, they're aware of it.
I mean, RCLS would be the one, I mean, Upshur himself would be the one to storm up to Albany and say, hey, our numbers are low and the system is the problem, and because if our numbers decrease in general and the state gets that report, that's,
We'll
looks
have to
bad.
see what happens.
To their benefit to have the correct numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I sent you last year's, you have a PDF of last year's statistics. That should be out any day now for this year's state report. So, curious, we can look at it and we can send it out. That's the what do you call it, the accumulation or whatever of all, the distillation of all the numbers that all the libraries have handed in. So, nice to look from year to year and see what's going on in the trends.
Do you know if Michelle or anyone in the youth area has gone to the notable books presentation that RCLS does?
I believe they have.
Okay. I think they do 3 a year, and they did. I know they did one at OCK,
The awards, you're talking about like the Prince Award, those, they go to, they seem
It's
to
not,
go to
it's not
about 3 or
just,
4 of them.
it's not just the award books. It's actually, the one that, you can go, an outsider can go, you pay $15, they actually give you supper too. But most of the people that were there were about 75 to 100 people there, were from the RCLS system, librarians.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure.
And they had 120 children's books that were being, very quickly, each one got about 30 to 45 seconds of attention. And, they go through them. And some of them were prize winners, but I would say most of them were not prize winners. They were just books that were being recommended as great for your library. Anyway, it doesn't cost librarians anything because RCLS covers it, and they do it 3 times a year, every year. So I just thought I'd mention it.
Any other questions for Matt, for the director's report? No? Okay. Okay, deep breath, everyone. Strategic plan. Yeah, I think,
So where are we at the, as far as the...
well, we went through it and we had already done quite a bit of it. So we have, goal for the new building, pay off the loan by January 2015. We wanted to have the engineer's report and environmental impact, which is what I believe you have there. We wanted to contact the architect regarding green building and see about having an exit poll for the vote for 2014. And a lot of what we already had here, we already took care of. Repairs on the building, we got the, and now we're looking to do that in July, so we don't have. Yeah, we revamped the website, we did.
Do you know if our policies, Daniel, says that we should establish these goals at a particular time each year? Or is there like supposed to be done when the new board
There
comes
really
in?
isn't. There really isn't anything that I'm aware of, are you? No, I think it was just mostly because we didn't have anything, and people come looking for information and we don't have anything.
Right.
So that was the whole reasoning behind doing this in the first place was, so what are you up to? So what do you do with all your money? So what do you want the 20, you know what I mean? Just where are you headed and how are you getting there? We didn't have anything in place. So we're making this up as we go because we don't have, the only strategic plan we ever had was the previous one, which was geared entirely toward a new building, and that was 5-6 years ago. And right, and that was the entire focus of it. So repairing this building, the website, anything else library-wise was ignored. It was just all about that one project, which is fine, but when I suggested we do this, I had the entire library in mind, for this year, what are we going to do? What is our long-term? We can't go too far in long-term because we don't know. Things change so rapidly, we have no idea what we're going to be doing in 5 years, but what are our plans this year, what are our plans down the line?
And one of the things that we had talked about was grant writers.
Yes.
Can maybe move that up
Sure.
in our planning so that we can
Well,
look at...
because of
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
That, and also, what funds are out there to help us in the planning for a new library. Are there any state grants? Are there
Yeah.
foundations that we can tap into that can help us defray the cost of planning toward a new building?
Sure. Now, are we looking to hire someone for each specific thing, or are we looking to have someone?
Jack of all trades.
Okay, so I'm.
Experience, somebody with experience,
Somebody with some
specifically
sort
with
of-
library. The
Specifically
first
with
criteria
library.
is that they have a track record in obtaining grants for libraries.
Okay.
That would be my
Yeah.
my
no,
suggestion.
Did you not mention you knew of someone or know that there's somebody that deals with libraries and grant writing?
Yeah, I put an email out to all the directors asking, I was hoping to get names. I didn't get any names. I got lots of advice, but no names. And, stuff like you should contact, there must be some, National Grant Writers Association or whatever, it was kind of, it was helpful, but it wasn't, I was hoping to get, does anyone know anybody can give me, maybe they don't want to share their.
Right.
That's probably the case. If they have a good person,
If you have a good grant writer,
Right.
yeah.
because you don't want competition out
Sure,
there.
right.
We have on here that we wanted a new board subcommittee regarding this, and we were going to establish the subcommittee, and then 15 days later, secure a grant writer, which is ambitious, but how do you feel about that, and what do you think we should do with it? This is from November, so.
I'm sorry,
on
where are you
December
looking at?
1st.
Where, oh, the number 3?
Right, number 3, pursue
Okay.
grants. We wanted a new, how we were gonna do this. We were gonna form a grant writing subcommittee. And were they gonna be responsible for, I don't know.
Do we need a subcommittee?
I don't know, it's
I
just
don't
on
think
here,
so.
that's why I'm asking. It was important enough to type it up here, so it's important enough. I don't know how you wanna work this. You
Well,
know, what would fall under otherwise?
We have to review creating another committee, because I think there are established committees in the bylaws,
well,
and for
Well,
some-
then
But
it could fall, does it fall under the,
Community resources.
yeah, right, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can do ad hoc committees, I would think, without
Yeah.
having to,
sure.
it's not
Sure.
a standing committee, so you can just set it up.
Just, right, a committee for the purpose of finding a
Yeah.
grant writer and
It's
then.
for this
I'll
purpose,
understand that, right.
you do the job and finish.
And then you were done, yeah, that works too. So would you like to do that? Do you think that would be the thing to do? Because we really want to get on top of this in order to get matching funds to
Do you-
pay for the roof.
Well,
sewer,
can
and-
I ask, Matthew, do you feel you've gone as far as you can towards getting,
No, I mean, I'm
towards
happy.
finding out?
I mean, I can research.
Robert Hofstra, doesn't know
research
someone?
people.
I thought these people should know somebody, right?
Yeah,
You
you
would
would
think
think.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
okay.
have some people I haven't
You know.
tapped, I can ask around.
What about that fellow out on Long Island
What?
University?
Yeah, right, the lawyer guy, that, our buddy.
Mr. Nichols, Mike.
Mr. Nichols. And the other one,
Jim Riley?
thank you. Yes,
Or,
he's an
if
attorney.
we are going with Mr. Mays, does he know
Oh,
anybody?
he might, that's a good idea too.
Yeah. Or is there anybody on the Friends, even? Because the Friends would have a vested interest in it, I mean, in terms of not having
I think
competition.
I was
It's
just,
just research, it's.
Sure, no.
Tough.
Right,
Should be easy.
I can put out, a query to the Friends membership if they know anybody that's a grant writer.
But with
See what
library
happens. For
experience.
libraries.
Library experience.
I would think anybody that did grant writing for educational institutions
Well-
would be able to slide into that library subset. It's like a subset, I think.
I know one, but
Top
he's
choices.
not available at the moment.
Top choice, somebody who has dealt with library grants, but
And their success rate in getting monies for
well,
library.
there's that too.
In some cases, it's even just submitting it is enough to, I mean, yeah, there might be competition, but if very few people are going for a grant, just having it in is.
Yeah, right.
I like to know how many millions they have under their belt.
Yeah, right, but we have no idea how big a pool we're choosing from, so how picky you get to be, you know, yeah. Yeah, there's only 3 of them. We picked the best of them. You mentioned Paul Mays. Do we want to approach him about meeting with us in September? Do we want to have a work session meeting with him, or do we want him to come to a board meeting?
I would
I
say
think it would be a work session.
a work session,
Yeah.
and depends on how much,
Yeah,
if he,
let's
is
be
he gonna
focused.
charge us?
Yeah, well, that's, don't know.
You know,
And-
travel expenses or whatnot.
Yeah, right.
That we can cover. but-
Yeah, right, I'm right, if it's,
And sometimes he'll be in the area anyway.
Right, exactly.
So it's easy.
So we should find out when he's available in September and plan our work session around him. Is that
Right.
okay with everybody?
Mhm.
Because that's, we need to be a little more flexible, I think the move is gonna have to be.
But
Okay.
also, if you haven't checked out the copy of Making the Case for, getting a new library, written by Mr. Hubsher, you know,
I've heard of him.
there's a lot of information in there that, tells us what we have to do.
Yeah.
Especially about inventorying, our holdings, and there's a bunch of other stuff in there that it's part of the process.
Right.
And we don't have to have somebody tell us to do that. It's really laid out in this document what needs to be done. And we certainly don't have to sit on our hands until September to get that information.
No, no.
So if,
No, I think what we want from him is, his idea, this is what he does, is build libraries, and what are we looking forward to?
Right.
And how much time is this gonna take?
well, if you look at that document, it says it takes years.
Yeah, sure.
So the sooner we get started on this,
The better.
especially getting the information,
Mhm.
Yeah,
the statistics, measurements, inventory.
right. But,
you know, that does take some time.
Sure.
And it's an obvious requirement, and
Right.
it's cited there. And I think if we can work towards that beforehand,
Oh,
to
yeah.
have that
Well, I
information.
think that's why we chose September, right? So that we'd all have a chance to look through that book.
Who's got the book, by the way?
There's 2 or 3 copies of it.
Who's got?
Jim.
Jim has it.
Oh,
This is stuff from an old file from that campaign.
No, the book on, that Keith is
I have
talking
the book
about.
here, yeah, I picked it up a couple days ago.
Oh, it's a great book. There's a lot of good stuff.
But I thought you might be interested in seeing, this is some of the material that was generated. You're gonna recognize.
I probably have
You're gonna
that.
recognize all
Some folder one, too.
this. This is the supporters on the letterhead. These special, I mean, it was a big, you can
What
see.
was this done for?
This is all part of
Yeah.
the push to get the new library. I'll give you what I have most stuff.
Oh, look, I recognize you. Look at that.
Here's a little postcard that went out, vote yes, rationale for voting yes. I mean, it was really a slick campaign.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I forget, you were, overalls?
Yeah.
Okay.
there's stuff like this, another mailer that went out, and it's just a one copy. What's missing, you open it up, it talks about lack of space in the library.
Libby, that's it.
And Libby,
Post.
Libby Post, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, here's,
Is that Carol? Is that you?
That's me.
Look at that.
How was all this paid for?
Younger days.
here's another fly that went out, I just realized that this is my.
We increased the budget that year. The year we had a huge increase.
And then,
Yeah.
this was
Not partially, but all of
another
it.
handout just loaded with stuff, including
Huh.
the DVD about the library.
And I never.
Everything that you got.
Yeah, you probably do.
Remember the DVD?
Interested in seeing.
Resources for
There's an incredible amount of information that
I'll
was.
tell you right now that all this stuff does not reach all of your voters.
No, because I'm telling you.
I've never
this-
seen any
none
of this
this.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
I never saw
right.
any of this stuff.
No.
And here's something that I guess comes out of some data that must be public access, because what it is it gives people's names, and then it gives their projected income
Wow.
and how much you can expect to get from them.
That's
Is that incredible?
that's actually really, really creepy.
Yes.
That's really
But it's
creepy.
I'm sorry.
As donation?
No, it's like, well, you know,
Right,
we
wait a
need,
minute.
they make this much, we can
Well,
hit
let me
them
just
up
say,
for it. It's the same
this
way
is-
FAFSA works. Oh, you make how much money? How many people live in your house?
I have no idea where this came from,
Madam.
but it was part of the campaign.
Nice.
And would you approach people,
Yes, Jim,
what you might be able to.
exactly.
Anyway,
So we won't be
this
doing
is
that.
what some people feel we should not do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we
Yeah.
probably shouldn't do that, because this really is invasive and kinda creepy.
I was talking to Donna Applegate, who is quite a successful professional person in her own right. Her husband is Vandelbaum, who does the senior housing. They live in Warwick.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
He's a builder, and
Yeah, Keith?
We're on there.
Yeah, we're on the air, Keith.
yeah, all right. let's-
Hello?
I think
Can
we
we
should
move on?
take this
We're
back.
on the air.
This may be inappropriate.
Not creating a
Anyway,
backlash for you.
Yes.
she said that she's on the library board in Warwick. She
All
was
right.
involved with them getting their new library. And she said that they had a very low-key approach.
That's the way to go.
They did not do this. This basically, this just stirs people up.
Mhm.
And she recommended, she says the kind of things you might do right now is to have people invite some of their friends to their house for coffee and just to talk in general about the library. And at some point, she said one of the things that they did in those small groups, they would say to people, how much would you pay per month for a new library? Would you pay $5 a month for a new library? Would you pay 10? You know, what are you comfortable with? Right. And they got a feeling what the community would support.
Right, because it's just, you're passing all of this stuff out.
Yeah.
And, I never saw any of it before. And it seems like,
I think though, you know, prior to such meetings, we need to come up with what we want in a library, what we think we need in the library. I mean, the library has to come
part
up
of why we want to do
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
you know,
Mr. Mays.
it's a sequence of events.
You know what
Is
might
there
also
a,
help?
I'm sorry?
Sorry. I just realized we might invite Rosemary Cooper, the director, very nice woman, of Warwick.
Right.
Because she was one of the speakers at this SLS, and she's more than, she seems to be
You can have
willing
this if you
to
want.
share her information on how they did it, how they ran it successful. She's been on both sides. She's run ones that didn't go well and ones that did, and she just had a lot of good advice. But it might be helpful to have someone like that just to start with, just to give an overview, you know, see where you're at, where you're going, and maybe I'd be happy to talk to her at some point.
Yeah,
Is there a, I don't know, I have not seen the book that Keith is referencing, the Robert Hupsher book.
Yeah.
Is there a to-do list and a timeline on there? In that book?
I don't remember there being a timeline, just the things that need to be done, and just a blanket statement that it takes years to get through the process. I mean, I haven't looked at every page, all the details of it. I could,
And we might actually be part of the way, and, you know, we have a lot of land. We already have, there are some things that we've already done from last time and since then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just because of that's a few years.
No, I mean, we're not
it may take us
gonna
a few
go to
years
the
more.
public prior to paying off the land.
Yeah, but we'll be at, well, my point is, we'll be part of the way along already.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Yeah,
so-
that's the main.
No, I mean, we plan, but
Yeah.
with, you know, planning ahead
Yeah.
means, yes, we can do a lot of the legwork now, but we're not gonna go to the public prior to paying off the land, is
Oh,
that
no,
correct?
absolutely not.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was, I
There's a
always,
lot
I
of
thought that was
A lot
understood,
of that
yeah.
legwork.
Right, but there's a lot, instead of waiting until that's done to, you know, gonna
It'll,
just sit
it'll
there.
go aside, because as we get the land, as we're close to, and as we get the land paid off, people are gonna be asking, so what are you doing with the land?
Right.
Yeah, right. Well,
Because you
and
need to
the
sell it
thing
if you're
is-
not gonna use it, let's.
No, but
We
then,
have-
we have
Yeah.
decided that that's
Well,
where
what
we're
is
No,
it?
going.
we've decided
On
that
the road?
it's just too expensive to turn this building into anything. We can't do it. It just can't be done. In order for the elevator, we lose a third of the floor space. In order to, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just too many things that just can't be done to this building. So
We did due diligence.
we did, we really did, and we looked at a lot of other options, and I think part of the thing we want to discuss with Mr. Mays is where green technology, our community needs, and money meet, and how big a library, and the kind of library we were talking about, build this now, 10 years, build this onto it, if necessary, or, right, something we can expand, or, you know, that kind of a thing too. So that's easier for the whole community to take in than a sprawling building that we may
So,
not use.
My
so-
suggestion would be is, you know, we stick with the plan of having Mr. Mays come in September.
Right.
And then
between-
from there, you know, develop what do we want to accomplish by a certain
Right.
amount of time.
Right, and between now and then.
Because he knows what he's talking about.
Right, and he's done this several times, and
Mhm.
he knows where the pitfalls are, and he knows, you know, what are the best ways, where is the best place to put your energy, because it is kind of, there's some things that are universal to all of, everybody wants to build a new library, and then there are
As detailed.
community-specific things, you know, because it's Goshen, we should do this, or because of the land, we should do this, or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he would know better than us where those.
Well.
Yeah, make it, well,
No,
that's-
it's,
necessarily
well,
for an ocean.
architecturally, no, he would know better than us. What, you know, well, we want this, yeah, but you know what, your land will support, you know what I'm saying, like,
Well, some of those things, yes.
yeah, right, so
It's
we
gonna
have
be
to.
interesting to, everybody's gonna read this, I'm assuming, because it's
Right,
gonna be
that's the
interesting to
plan.
I sure hope.
contrast that, or see what agrees and see what contrasts with what Paul Mays says as well.
Right, right.
Because that was catered to, but it was written up in Southern Ontario,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Canada. So,
So the rules are
we're
different.
close to Canada,
Well.
but different countries, yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be.
I didn't really read that
A
in
whole
it.
other country.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
really
it's very,
read
it's very
the
generic,
differences, so,
lots
yeah.
of generic things.
I
Really-
wish we could get copies for everybody, so we could, you know,
Expensive.
20, was it $50 a copy? I
$50
think?
a copy.
I wonder if Mr. Hubsher has something that's not written for a particular library, but in general,
Yeah.
yeah,
it does.
that'd be great.
Well, we're talking about, yeah, it's a chunk of money, but by the same token, if these are the only ones circulating the whole library system, it would be a benefit to the library system to get 7 copies.
Just so that we're-
And then when we're done, yeah. So.
Has everybody, I know I visited the Warwick Library, I know Jim did. Has anybody else visited? Just to have
Yeah.
a point of reference, you visited, what did
Yeah.
you think?
It's lovely. All the new libraries, that one included, is lovely. I mean, I drive through Jersey on the way to work, and there's a couple of libraries on the way there as
What
well.
do you think of the layout?
It's, I like it. I like it, but I don't know how much they just started with a clean slate and said, okay, let's build whatever we want, and how much focus they put towards being able to expand it on top of it. I mean, as I look at all the new libraries that I'm passing, and like I said, in Rockland and in Jersey, I'm going to stop off in a couple of places and ask the directors the same type of questions, like, when did you do this? What did it cost? If you're next to a school, was it part of a project to expand the school? These type of questions.
Is that a load-bearing wall? For expansion.
Well, yeah,
That's
yeah.
important,
The town of Applegate said that they had to cut their plan way back based upon these conversations with the community as to what the community would support. When they had this feeling, okay, they will go for X amount of dollars, then they went, I guess, back to Paul's group and said, this is what we have. And she mentioned some things that just were not, they're not in the new building because we knew we couldn't afford them. But we didn't know that in our situation.
Yeah.
We, of course, the timing was awful too, but, and there were a lot of bad things happening, but we never said they'll not support that large a building, let's cut it back. We never did that. We just to take it or leave it.
Are we, though, as in officially, to when we are approached in the community, where are you going to put a new library? Are we all in agreement that Salesian is the place where we're going to put a new library?
At this point, I
At
think we
this
are.
point,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the current plan.
It is the current plan, because there really isn't anything else in
Yeah.
option.
So we're
But
all
I
speaking
think
from the
we've looked
same
at our
page.
options.
We've looked at every other option
Yeah.
there was
We're-
in the village. and
But I
it's-
think we have to,
Oh,
I think we have to say that if something, were to pop up that, is totally new and would work, we would certainly look at it.
Sure, right.
But
we're
we
not
don't really
foreclosing
see
on
that.
anything.
At this point, we have to proceed with what's doable and reasonable and.
Right. Right.
We can have
Well,
plenty of parking spaces that aren't.
Well, that's the other thing about it too. We can make it, whatever's already standing in Goshen is what it is, and we have to make it work for us and go in after the fact and fiddle with it so it works for us. Building from the ground up, we can start modest, expand if necessary, build that into the design. And build it the way we absolutely need it, which would be much more efficient. May not be as big as whatever else we find.
Even if we start out with just doubling the space that we have now, a
Exactly.
10,000 square foot library, that's a start. That would give
That is
us
a
a
start.
decent children's area,
Right.
accessible to all children.
Mhm.
And then, a separate part for adults where they can go in and, the yarn gang and the
Right,
movie
rooms
and.
and parking, and there's a lot we can't do here, there's a lot we can't attach to other buildings that.
I mean,
Right,
even if we
the
just
10,000.
start with that,
Yeah,
with the
I think
10,000,
so.
and then later on, if, whoever comes after us on this board and says,
We need
10,000 is
10.
nice, but we need another 10,
Or,
or
yeah.
another 5,
Right,
they have the property to do so.
exactly, and I think that's something we have to, have built into the, whatever plan we come up with, that there's room for expansion. Build this knowing that perhaps they will add another floor or expand out, or, do you know what I mean? I think that's definitely something that needs to be part of the building plan in the first place. Any other questions? You look like you have something on your mind, Jim.
Well, one thought, in Warwick, they took the old library and they sold it to the Historical Society. And our Historical Society and library actually are one institution, so
Mhm.
one of my thoughts would be to retain this building
Mhm.
for our historical purposes. There's enough room in that new back section. You take out the shelves and things where the books are back there,
Like Goshen.
and that could be a meeting room, which of course is handicapped accessible, and could be a place to meet. And there'd be in the front area you could have display cases, and this area down here would obviously we would not use in the way we're using it now. Because a lot of people, I think, would like to see this building continue to be part of the public.
Maintained.
Yeah.
Just to be, you know, the
It's an
regard. So
interesting
if the
idea.
plan included something like that, you might get a lot of people that are interested in Goshen history saying, yeah, let's do this so we get to keep our building.
Or maybe we hook up with the county historian or some other societies.
Maybe we could rent space to the county historian in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this building.
Yeah,
That might be something to.
Help.
that's a good.
Hey,
idea.
That's, I think.
Yeah, it's something to think about. Okay, now, back to the strategic plan. I think we've pretty much covered everything on here. We've done most of what we said we were going to do.
So that you're gonna keep asking about,
Oh.
send out to grant writers?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so. Grant writers, grant engineers.
Would anyone like to take a look at this next?
Are you done with
In
it?
July.
I'm kind of done with it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a little thing that was attached to it, which I think I have somewhere. I'll try to find it.
Okay.
That was just the circulation or the note that says
Yeah,
it's
those
part
notes,
of,
yeah.
it's part of our sale.
Yeah, Norma had written a note, and figured that the table would help.
Okay, so can we move on from this, or, okay, thank you. New business. I have to read off a bunch of things, and then I will ask for a motion, a second, and then everybody will vote. So let's get through this.
Yeah.
And move on, this should normally take a few minutes, okay? The designation of the official banks. Resolved that the library funds will be deposited in one of the following banks: Bank of America, Chase, KeyBank, Orange County Trust Company, Provident Bank, Berkshire Bank, TD Bank North, and M&T Bank. May I have a motion to accept it? It carries this. Second? You looked at me like.
Well, basically all the banks in town.
Yeah,
All
basically.
the banks that are within Goshen
Right.
limits or
Okay.
thereabouts.
Second, Norma?
Mhm.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And Brian is absent, is that one? No, okay. Resolved that the newspapers of record are the Times Herald Record, the Goshen Independent, and the Chronicle. May I have a motion to accept that? Norma? A second, please? Bernie? All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody? Okay, thank you. The designation of the official meeting day and time. Resolved that the regular monthly meetings of the Board of Trustees will be scheduled on the second Monday of the month at 7:30 p.m. On the motion, Jim, thank you. Jim and Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and all opposed, nobody? Okay. The appointment of attorneys. Resolved that the library continue to retain the legal services of Robert W. Fink, attorney at law. Okay, we can cross out last year's motion. That's okay. May I have a motion to Nancy? And second? Norma? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And resolved that the library use the resources of Norton and Christensen Law Offices at 60 Erie Street, Goshen, as backup to Robert W. Fink in cases where specialized legal expertise is needed. Keith makes that motion. A second, please. Bernie? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, who's the backup again?
The Norton and Christensen.
Norton. Thanks, Greenfield.
Okay. The appointment of our accountant/treasurer. Resolved that the library appoint Robert W. Schultz, CPA, to be the library treasurer. May I have a motion? Bernie? Second? Nancy? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Thank you very much. Okay. Appointment of the clerk of the board. Resolved that Carol T. Cullen, library clerk part-time, be appointed clerk of the board. May I have a motion?
I'll make
Thank you, Keith. A second? Jim? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Okay, thank you very much. Now we need members of the nominating committee to come up with a slate of officers to vote on at the next meeting.
Yes, and you just generally appoint.
Oh, I appoint them? Oh, that was good.
And just as a point of clarification, I think we went through this last time, but if anyone who's on that committee may not be nominated for president, is that what we decided last time?
I think so, right, Carol? And whoever is nominated for president, picks their vice president, and it's...
Well, that's not something that, I know that's something that you felt has been a kind of a tradition. That's not in our policies, and we didn't do that this past year
Okay.
as well. The committee operated completely freely as to,
Okay.
who would be president, who would be nominated for president, who would be nominated for vice president.
Okay.
And also the issue that came up last time, which there was some, I guess, discussion about, had to do with how long a person could serve in the position.
Mhm.
And I believe our policy still says 2 years is
Yes.
which unfortunately places a limit on your service as president coming up.
Yes.
In spite of the fact that you've done a fantastic job.
Well, thank you very much.
Today, those two, those kind of rules would apply to whoever gets appointed. You can't be on the committee and not be nominated for president, and the committee is not allowed to nominate someone who's been president 2 years. Now, a year from now, you could be nominated again.
Yay.
But you might not. You may discover it's so much fun sitting over here.
Yeah, also I can't be auditor of the bills, because this is my second year doing it.
Is
Oh,
this
is that
also
right? Is
written on
it the
really?
same with everything?
Yeah.
That's a rule we gotta change.
That's all yours, Bernie.
You're right. I'm the only one who wants that job.
All in favor?
All in favor.
Aye.
What's involved in changing that rule so we can keep Bernie as the auditor?
I don't think
What are the-
that applies to
I think it
Bernie's
only
position.
applies to president, right? I think it does.
I think
I think Bernie wants out. I think that's Bernie's nice way of asking out.
No, actually, for as long as I'm able to do it, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I think Carol's correct. I think it only applies to president.
I think otherwise.
Thank you.
That's why I bring it up.
I know.
Bylaws are bylaws,
appreciate
yeah.
you.
What about secretary? Secretary? No?
Is it in this bracket right now? It should be. Here it is.
Well, you can-
somewhere.
Like I said, I don't mind doing it, so yeah, if between now and
We'll
next
have to
month,
check
yeah,
that out.
if it's standing, we
Keep you
can
on with the
choose
order. You'll be
to.
okay with it? If we can keep you on, you'll be okay being with us?
Absolutely,
All
yes.
right.
And if we want to change it next
Elections,
meeting
yeah.
before we have the
No, I
slate,
don't.
that's fine.
Oh, the board, oh, yeah,
Board,
board.
duties, maybe, duties. Nominate here, it's probably over here somewhere. Determine newly elected officers shall
No trustee shall serve more than 2 consecutive years in the same office. Appointed officers serve at the will of the board.
Oh.
That's where I think you fall.
Are you ever appointed
Appointed
officer?
officer?
Yes, because the elected officers
Mhm.
are the president, the vice president, and the secretary.
But no, it's also in there as a.
Did we didn't add
I believe he's
auditor of the
appointed.
bills, did we?
No, I think it's in there as part of the slate,
Yeah.
which is part of the elected board.
Is that right? You just want to.
That's how I read it. If we want to modify the rule so that the president can swap them out, or eliminate it entirely, that's fine too.
Okay.
So in other words, a person can't be vice president for more than 2 years,
Right.
Right.
or president, or what are
What's
the other,
there?
what are their?
Secretary.
Secretary and
Secretary
auditor.
and,
Secretary.
auditor of the bills.
Because Robert's the treasurer,
Right.
so there's no
So
treasurer.
auditor of the bills is an elected,
It's on the slate.
Is it?
It's on the
Yeah,
slate.
we invented that for you.
I thought we did.
We
No,
had an auditor of the
that's
bills a
also-
long time ago.
It's also, oh, we got
We
rid of
had,
it.
and didn't do it for a couple of years. It was
That's me.
Jasper, wasn't it? Am I thinking correctly? And that was a while, that was before I
Okay.
came on. And actually,
long
since
as we're
I've been on the
good.
board, you're the first auditor of the bills we've had.
I know that when
He's
Yeah,
listed
yeah, it
as
is,
elected
yeah,
officers.
yeah, it's one of the
all
elected
the
officers
bills.
auditor of those.
Yeah.
Scratch that out.
Well, look at, Ryan's not here.
Right.
It's just the point, Ryan.
I don't teach them to not show up for the meeting. All right, so Ryan's on
But he
the
doesn't want
nominating
to-
committee.
one step backwards,
Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is hard to do. So, does anybody want to be on the nominating committee?
I wouldn't mind being on it again.
Okay, so it'd be okay with you and Ryan?
Yeah, just let Ryan know.
Yeah, I'll send you an email. It's too bad you didn't come to the meeting.
All right.
By the way,
And we
is
need
that
one-
it, Jim and Ryan?
Well, we need three people.
I think
Normally it's three, isn't it?
No, I think
No,
so.
two.
It was just you and I think.
And then
Yeah,
you
I
and I
think
have
you're
done
right,
it.
and
Who
then
has not
the two
done
of
it?
you.
Who has not done it?
Well, I did it.
I've
Well,
done it,
no,
we
I
have
did.
done it once. You have done it.
I haven't, I don't want to.
Oh.
So we're all carrying our own weight here.
All right. All right, so Jim and Ryan hasn't done it yet, so it's Jim and Ryan.
That's right, okay.
Okay?
And then everybody will have done it except one.
There you go.
Oh.
All right,
Better
so
ways
Jim,
of doing it than that.
Jim and Ryan shall present a slate of officers for the June meeting. Okay? Yes, I
Are
hear
you
no
planning on
objections,
changing
so.
that rule during next month's meeting? Because
Do you
I-
want to
We
change
should.
that rule? We should, because that's really
Look at the whole
restrictive.
process there.
Well, yeah, for
What are
7
we changing?
people, it really isn't.
It isn't every everybody has to give it up after 2 years.
We
It's
could
not a
even.
political office, and,
It's
you know,
not, and
term
it's-
limits are a consideration.
I mean, we could stage 2, we could also do 4 years, and then in another 2 years decide to get rid of it.
Yeah, but our
Right.
terms are only 3 years long, so maybe that was the thinking when they put it in place.
Right.
But I don't know.
It's just, it almost sounds like a Rotarian method of, everybody should be president.
Yeah.
So we should just, everybody shift one office. We'll go in alphabetical order. What comes after O'Brien?
Right.
Some organizations do it that way.
They do,
Where everybody
um,
takes, you know,
Everybody takes a turn, yeah.
Everybody takes a
And
turn.
I think that's
I
probably
don't
part of the
mind,
thinking.
I don't mind keeping that as it is.
Yeah, okay. Well, do you want to revisit it at the next meeting, or are we decided that that's fine? the way it is?
Well, my own feeling about the order of the bills, I would think that would be one that you could continue, because sometimes you have a person whose background
Yeah, right, it's
is
particularly
appropriate
good
for
for it.
doing that and inclination.
So why
So
don't we
let's change
word it
that.
so that we change that at the next meeting to pull the
Yeah.
auditor of the bills out of that limit?
But
Yeah,
the
correct.
danger,
Or
Appointed position
specify.
instead of a,
Make it an appointed
elected
Yeah,
position
make it
instead of
appointed.
an
Right.
elected,
Right.
right.
Okay.
in order to change the bylaws,
I can
do we
look
need
into that.
30 days
Mhm.
notice or something? Is that the?
Right,
I'll
so
look
if we
into that.
decide tonight and then vote on it
Like,
at
do,
the next
well, do we need
meeting?
to make the motion tonight and then wait 30 days to vote, or how?
I forget how it is. Yeah, I think that's right. So
Look it up.
we'll make the motion.
You got the book. You got the bylaws,
You don't know this stuff?
We'll change
Okay,
that too.
Just to make sure,
Yeah.
I
Let's
make
just
a
be on the
motion,
safe side.
I make a motion that we change the bylaw concerning election of officers to remove auditor of the bills from that list and instead make that an appointed position,
I like it.
okay?
Okay.
So making that motion.
Okay, a
Jim
second?
makes that
I'll
motion.
second that.
All
Keith
right.
seconds.
It's a good
All
motion.
right,
All in favor?
all right.
All opposed? It passes.
All right, now, if we discover later on that we have to wait 30 days and then vote, we can correct that and vote next time.
Sure,
So we'll get it one way or the other.
right. That sounds good.
But
To make it official at the next meeting?
I think the advantage, though, of having the president the only 2 years is that I've been on boards where you get a person who's very good as president, and then you couldn't, that person just sort of stays as president
Yeah.
forever. And there are other people who really have the talent and the interest and
And don't
deserve,
get the chance,
but
yeah.
they don't want to kind of rock the boat and,
Mhm.
Rocky's doing such a great job, So,
Well,
well, I think it's good. There's enough,
Yeah, yeah.
certainly with a 7-member board, there should be 2,
Right,
3,
plus
4 people
the
that
3-year term
are interested
makes a
and have the
difference.
talent, so.
Sounds good.
Oh,
we
so
have-
we're keeping the 2-year term.
We're keeping the 2-year
For
term
the
for the
president.
elected positions, but we're making auditor of the
Right.
bills an appointed position.
Right.
Right.
Because we also talked about, swapping president and vice president every 2 years if that's a good team. Anyway, so.
Sure.
I mean, you
But
get at it that way.
Ryan can help make that decision, so.
Yeah.
Ryan and Jim can decide that. The, acceptance of the state report.
Right.
What is that?
You guys got a PDF a while back of
Oh.
the state report. Just,
That's a while
you
ago.
basically have to formally accept that
Okay.
you're.
Now, is there wording somewhere for that I didn't get, or? I don't see anything here about it. Carol, is there official wording I have to read for accepting the state report, or
Well,
do I just make a motion for that?
do we need to do it this month?
I can make that one up on the
You
fly.
can pick it up in the
It's,
fly, or you can wait another month. I just could
A
change the
motion
date
to
to the state.
to accept the state report as submitted by
Because-
Matt Town.
Okay. Yeah, okay. May I
Because
have
we
a
all
motion
read So I didn't-
to accept the state report as
As
submitted
submitted by,
That's
by
fine.
Matt? Norma, a second, please. Nancy, all in favor of accepting the state report? Okay, no opposed? Brian's not here. I think I'll put Ryan. Okay, any other new business? All right, cool. Any proposed agenda meetings for next month? Okay, we're going to officially vote on changing the bylaw.
Oh, I had one question in terms of whether shortly, I discussed something with Matt briefly, about having some type of sign, and I was envisioning, I had it drawn up, but I forgot to take it work at home with the suggestions on it. Basically a sign that says on top, "You can help."
Oh, that's right.
And basically have almost like a sandwich board type list of stuff that we could take off and put back on. Just have line items that people could see as they come in, such as join the Friends of the Library, contact your legislators, have a subject, have a brief statement underneath it, and even at the bottom of the board have something where they can pull Friends of the Library thing, they can pull a piece of paper that has legislators' addresses, email addresses, they can walk in, but just in terms of getting people interested in helping out the library, and for free.
Sure.
Walk down the street and stop into the legislator's office, or for a nominal fee, join the Friends, or volunteer if there's things we can volunteer for, either events or something like that. Join programs, I wrote down on here as well. Pay your fines. We can have it at the bottom of the list. Or the top.
Remind you to pay your
At the
fine.
top, I don't think they'll read any further.
But yeah, just to, throw that out there again, we can discuss that later, just in terms of, or.
That does sound like a good idea, I like it too.
Put it
What do you
on
have in
the
mind,
part
like a
of the
big
website.
bulletin board, or?
Too?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea too.
Have
Things
it-
you could
have it
just print
parallel,
out.
yeah.
Of having the same sort of, like a page on the website with all of the things and links to
There's
the letters you can
my
print
school
out.
district has on the side, a calendar
Right.
of events coming up in the school district, and then you just click on the date, and it gives you a whole bunch of information.
Right.
So things like, name something,
The book
The
sale.
prom, the book sale,
the legislator. You click on that, and then underneath it gives you the link to your legislator's office to immediately, and off it goes. Something like that.
Sure. Or a letter they print out and sign.
Yes,
Super
yeah, absolutely.
easy, yeah.
Mhm.
Cost of a stamp, you're helping us, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's a great idea.
Or email, no cost.
Or
There you go, emails, no cost.
Send to, link.
Mhm.
yeah.
There you go. All right. Thank you.
Something for the new building is to have a little community right when you walk in.
Oh, sure,
a
community
bulletin
bulletin
board,
board. Well, they
yeah.
have one in
That's
Chester.
cool.
When you first walk in, the first, like the vestibule, they have.
They
all
have
kinds of-
space.
Yeah. They have space. Nice what you can do when you have space. Right, 'cause he's talking about a board, and I'm thinking, where are we headed?
Exactly, yeah.
No, the,
Great idea, where are we putting it?
The
We'll sit it on
Warwick
top of a
Library
copy
has
machine.
a flat screen TV with all kinds of things going on there.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
have a mini
children's
flat
and.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Kinda nice.
Beautiful.
You have a
Yeah,
mini-
that was
yeah.
He's got a photo. He's got
But I mean, when you walk in, that's the first thing you
Yeah.
see, and with all of the events listed, and
Nice.
pictures of children doing things.
Right,
and-
right.
Very nice.
Our schools all have those
anymore.
now.
I have,
TV
one of
when you
those
walk
digital
in.
frames that we don't use. that
Really?
If you want it.
Yeah, use
I
mine.
can find in the attic.
We could use mine down here. Yeah, sure.
I can't remember
That
what
or
I
we
did.
get-
I think PTO had something to do with it, but yeah, all those schools have a.
Anything else
TV lobby.
we want on next month's agenda?
The fine adjustment is gonna be on there.
Yes,
next
we're going to do
agenda?
that. Let's move to next month.
Okay.
That's it? Okay. Privilege of the floor. All right. We're going to go into executive session. Just want to take one minute. Okay. May I have a motion to go into executive session? Thank you, Norma. Second, Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody. Okay, thank you very much. And the time is 9:05 PM.